Episode 30 fucking 9. I don't know why, but 39 is one of those numbers that just sticks out to me. And I recall when I was a little kid, channel 39 on my old Toshiba television set used to be Nickelodeon, and it was my favorite number for a really long time. Like if I was on a sports team, I'd be 39. If I had to pick a number at random, it's 39. I would always try to hit 39 on the balloon game on the boardwalk. Even if the prize sucked or it was like a girl's bike or whatever, fuck it, YOLO, and just say like, yeah, I got it, but what can you do? So yeah, episode 39. I thought I'd watch one today where there's very minimal bearing or consequence to it. I remember I was bitching about come and see and like the just immaculate attention to detail that they paid to make sure that movie worked and the message was across. And by the way, not going to say that every time that production value does show an elevation of the source material, but this is a great example of it, and it really does show when you put the little extra bit of time and diligence into what you're making. It will definitely make your shit look better. Same with war games. You can't just green screen everything. I mean, it's tempting, I get it, but makes your shit look way better when you actually like figure out what it's supposed to be and then hunt down what you need. This film, on the other hand, that we're watching today, it pays very little attention to detail in a lot of facets. It's a film, and I normally don't like enjoy movies like this. I think I've explained this already. I think I don't care about comic book movies, nor do I care about comic books like as a whole. I don't need my propaganda to be colorful and well illustrated. It's like, just give me the propaganda so that I can continue going about my day and, not worry about, anything else. I understand it, like, that's what it is. And once you like accept that is really what these like superhero, this cape shit is that it's just propaganda disguised as like, or like ideals disguised as entertainment. It's the argument is always, oh, but it's an escape. Wouldn't you want to see what people with superpowers do? Not really. I could care less. I would rather watch a movie that, is a little bit less interesting visually than a just constant barrage of CGI bullshit, that actually takes its source material seriously and it takes its audience seriously and genuinely tries to captivate the viewer. This is one of those rare exceptions. Fury. We're watching Fury today with Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, Walking Dead guy, Michael Pena, and a handful of smatterings of other people. This film's all right. I like it. I was on the World War II kick a couple of days ago, and I just saw this lying around my house. I have kind of a big movie that I want to watch for episode 40, which I know the last time I tried to knock out 2 films in a night, it ended badly. But this one is nice. It's easy. It's mindless. And I'm gonna watch it and try to actually enjoy it because I haven't seen it in about a year, and I like this movie. I really do like the every bit of like how they didn't really pay attention to detail where like it ultimately matters. Because it is a film that's based on a graphic novel. And I'm going to come out and say it. I'm probably going to use the words comic book and graphic novel interchangeably. And I understand there's a distinction between... I don't give a shit if it's on a fucking page. I can say, by that standard, fucking Mad Magazine is a graphic novel, which I have been a lifetime subscriber to. You can come over to my... here's a little fun fact about me, actually. You know what? I got this brand spanking new pipe. That I don't know, I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but I hit it once yesterday, and it did me so good, I think I'm going to hit it right now for everybody on the podcast, and I'm going to tell this story about my one friend from college, Gay Steve. Well, damn if that ain't a smooth fucking smoke. Well, so when I was in college, I used to have these Tupperware bins that I'd roll around with. They're like the shoebox sized Tupperware bins that are stackable. Because I like making the most of my storage space, and I'm a ADHD, high functioning autist that needs like to constantly be kind of just have everything I want on hand. So I'd have all these Tupperware things around my room. And one day my buddy Gay Steve, who was roommates with my buddy Mark, was in my room. We were chilling, and I started showing him a bunch of stuff under my bed that was like just accoutrement that I had brought with me and kept in these Tupperware things. And he sees a stack of magazines like kind of back towards under my bed, and he's like, "Oh, Joe, what do you have there?" And he got like real excited and kind of like piqued his interest. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I want to see these." And he goes, "Yeah, I really want to see these." So I pull out 2 boxes. The first box is filled with Mad magazines, which he is very disappointed. He's like, "Okay, all right, yeah." I was like, "You want one?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good. What's in the other one?" So I open the other one. It's filled with weird New Jerseys. And he's even less impressed with that. And I was like, "Steve, I'm sorry. What the fuck?" Like, he's like, "I thought all you men," he said it in a way where it was like, "I thought all you men were supposed to be like hypersexual. Where's the fucking Playboys, Joe?" It was just a very interesting critique of my character. And I thought it was funny that like I could disappoint a gay guy because I didn't have Playboys under my bed. But I disappoint men and women alike in the same department constantly, almost nearly daily. So, yeah, hence why I'm doing a podcast by myself. Just give it to myself now. That was a rough one right there, guys. But yeah, I have anything in that facet is a graphic novel or comic book. It's all comic books to me. So like whenever you got a comic book, I usually could care less. But Fury, I saw and was like, this is not accurate. And then my buddy Mark's like, "Oh, hell yeah, it's like completely inaccurate." And I was like, "Well, what's that all about?" And he's like, "Well, did you like it?" I was like, "Oh, it was an entertaining movie. I thought it was fun." And he's like, "Yeah, well, it's like based on a graphic novel." I was like, "All right, well, that explains everything. There's like nothing really riding on it." I mean, you could argue the esteem of the the brotherhood that military deployment does forge through hard times and battling and the loss of your friends and close combat buddies. But aside from that very general thing, I mean, this is like a complete and total farce. I think like aside from the setting being like Germany in 1945 and like the war kind of being almost over, I don't think you get carte blanche to just kill SS officers with no trial to prove to something. Like it's got a lot. It takes a lot of fucking creative liberties, but it does. It's much like Tarantino takes a lot of creative liberties with Inglourious Bastards. This kind of does the same thing, where they're just like, "Hey, I kind of like Brad Pitt, and this movie kind of needs to be elevated because nobody's gonna believe it." So yeah, we're gonna put Brad Pitt as a tank commander, and then a bunch of bullshit happens, and then they basically use that as a big old metallic metaphor for men not like wanting to give up ultimately like what they grow to love, even though like this is a very weird message, and I'm sure the graphic novel does clarify this, but unlike like I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and I'm rewatching it with like a different lens on this time because I do kind of want to get to what the bottom of this film is trying to say, because it doesn't really give you like it gives you like a couple of very broad things. Like I said, like you make unlikely friends when you go through duress, and then like people that you have to rely on sometimes aren't reliable, but if you like show that you're not unreliable, but like your courage might lie in like different ways then, or are you willing to do that? Like there's all these like very like nippy kind of like small, just like underhand toss softball like messages, and I want to see if there is something that's bigger and overarching, because like every time I watch it, all I think is like, yeah, like Brad Pitt probably didn't have to die in the tank, but it's like he kind of dies doing ultimately like what he's meant to do, and I want to know if there's something deeper. So, yeah, I think I talked enough. Yeah, we're going to be watching Fury. And then on the other side, I got something big planned for episode 40. So, like I said, tune in for that. Jake and Aaron probably, if Aaron even wants to listen to this. But, yeah, without further ado, we are watching Fury. Mod on. That was a lot to take in, actually. Watching that film through a critical lens is a very fucking, it's a very frustrating thing. Give it the, gonna give it to that. That's for what it is, Fury is an entertaining ass movie. For a plethora of reasons. It tries very hard to at least be respectful of what it's presenting up until like I'd say like the last like 20 minutes of the movie. But I'm not here to like play like, oh, this is Joe Historian fucking poking holes in where they got things wrong, because they did a pretty good job of like keeping it authentic. So this is what comic book movies bother me with. And I know this is like something like, oh, you just said you're not going to, overanalyze like this and that about the film to make it kind of like try and break it down that way. But I feel like you kind of have to. So, well, that explains a lot. That makes me sound a little bit better, right? Yeah, I'm not yelling with both mics on. Yeah, dude. But yeah, this movie is good. It's a solid 7.5 out of 10. Like, I give this movie 3/4 of the way, because 3/4 of the movie is a fucking beautifully entertaining film. You know right off the bat that it pays a certain amount of homage to the people that were like tank engineers and whatnot during World War II. They do a good job of showing illustrating the camaraderie. According to my good friend Mark, who has done his deep dives on dumb, dorky things like this film, he does know a lot about David Ayers, I think is the guy's name, who does a good amount of these adaptations. But he mentioned something that to not only get them as authentic as possible, to build the camaraderie, they sent all of these dudes, Pena, fucking Brad Pitt, and Shia LaBeouf, and the two other guys. They sent all of them to boot camp, the little celebrity crash course boot camp thing you do. And then they did good, but to get them actually heated and whatnot, actually make them kind of have this den of frustration that is this tank. It kind of and give a better visual depiction of the camaraderie, that they're close, but they got a little something extra being in this hellhole together, that is the the mobile assault unit, but also the Sherman tank that they're in. According to Mark, they would the Ayers would come and flip out on them one by one until they'd get really mad, and then they'd all fist fight before takes of I'm not sure if it's everyone or if it's just a couple of them, but yeah, a couple of takes, apparently they were off screen slapping each other and beating the shit out of each other, trying to get in this high energy, and it translates. And I'm not gonna sit here and argue that that's good or bad filmmaking, but character actors are what they are. If you want to play badass, sometimes you got to do stuff that's a little above and beyond to do the badass. So I give them credit for that, and it does translate. It shows that they are very comfortable. That these dudes may not have actually been through World War II in a tank together, but for the backstory, they all play off each other very well. And there is this so I kind of identify it with the way in Waiting, they all have camaraderie, because it's not the same suffering, obviously. Clearly the military and kitchens are two different fucking distinct things, but when you go through you endure some shit together, there's kind of this unspoken bond that, hey, we've been through the ringer together, I can trust you to keep it together during that, not flip the fuck out, I can trust you with other things in life. And I think that is illustrated very well here, because it's said a lot, it really does hammer that point home, because like I said, one facet of comic books not translating on the film is that you don't have to just announce how you fucking feel. But for whatever fucking reason, screenwriters haven't picked up that oh yeah, good screenwriting is subtext. You don't need it. You just need to put them in situations where they can express how they feel in their actions or their emotions, or how they react to other things, how they go about life. There's a whole bunch of facets, but no, you end up with these one-dimensional I've got to be this, I've got to be this, and they do kind of trounce around World War II announcing like, I'm frustrated, well, I'm a badass, keep it together, I'm in charge. Like, you get a little bit of that, but I'm not gonna sit here and poke fun at the writing when it in fact is like it could be a lot worse. It's not great, but it's like it's fine and dandy. But yeah, like the subtext that is like them kind of like fucking teasing each other, and one dude coon ass trying to fucking pick Shia LaBeouf's mustache. They're like, you know, there is this like shit where it's like it's like watching a bunch of brothers hang out, or like, you know, doing all that shit. So like that's like one thing that I wish like they could have just like left it at that, but instead they did, you know, overwrite it a little bit. And then there's like this whole thing about like I would say there's 4 acts to this. Like the initial act where they have the battle, and then the second battle, or no, the initial one, there's like 2 in the first one, and like I know that there's like them in the tank where he fucks up, and then there's the battle where Brad Pitt makes him shoot him, and then there's the town, the city that they take, where the house that the chick, fucking Marvin or whatever the fuck the guy's name, I already forget his fucking name, Sheldon for all I fucking the girl he fucks gets exploded by incoming artillery, and one sec. A little thing of juice. Then the 4th act is obviously like the crossroads. So there's like these 4 like distinct parts of the film, all with different like metamorphoses of the character that you're supposed to be following through, because ultimately it is the young guy. I forget, they call him the Machine by the end, but I forget his fucking name. It's like Melvin Martin or something like that. Marvin. Might be. I don't know. At this point, I don't give a shit. But yeah, you're just kind of like viewing it through the lens of him. So you're like learning kind of like that. You're just thrown in there with nothing. You don't really know like they clearly are like well established characters, and you get enough from like the peripheral interactions with the other tankers and like the old man, the old colonel. That like, you know, I know who you are, and you're good. Just do what you need to do to get us out. Like, and they make it very apparent that these guys have been through some shit, but like you're new, you're joining them like in the middle of things, meteor res as they call it, and then you're introduced to like just this, you know, horrific. It's so. All right, so I like. There's one more positive thing before I start whining about how just fucking god awful the violence in this movie is, because like what it's trying to establish, it does a good job. The cinematography does an excellent job of also adding a layer of context, where up until like the last I said like 3/4, where everything is just smoke and a bunch of heavy lighting to kind of give like the Nazis like these like almost phantom visual. They're presented as like these like phantom like things, because you're not supposed to know, like there's ambiguity in the amount of soldiers that they're up against. It's just supposed to illustrate like visually like an arduous task, and like the more faceless they become, the greater their numbers are as well. And like it just is one of those things where it's like, yeah, we get it, you were a fucking comic book, this is how you have to fucking explain shit, because you know people are too dumb to actually like sit and pay attention to the cinematography. They just have the shit on in the background while they're texting people and listening for something interesting to be said so they can go and then yeah, it's fucking retarded. But anyway, cinematically it does do a really good job. It gives this very like dismal look to everything, and like the setting and scenery is supposed to be dismal, but it could look a lot like more like militaristic, or like a little more like you know, true to the color tones of like the footage and shit that you see, where it's like completely blown out and muddy, if not like just black and white. But like it actually does this nice balance of like there's several scenes where there's these you know, visual cues as well as like audio strikes that are just like very well timed, and they do like kind of illustrate like the little tidbits of humanity that you're seeing through this kid. Like him seeing the girl with the bicycle, and then like him kind of like observing the Nazis being on fire before shooting them. Like it's like stuff that you're seeing through his eyes, and like it's done in a way where it's not just this like gray dismal thing. It's actually like very color rich, despite it being kind of like in this one like it's a very one-sided thing, but at the same time it doesn't like visually disappoint you, which which is the ultimate point I'm trying to get at here. I'm not doing a very good job at it either, but it looks cool, and it look like cool is not the best explanation of this, but like it does look good. It looks decent enough where you're captivated by it. You're not just like, oh, okay, this is, we're watching World War II. It's like, no, okay, there's a story going on here, and I can see just from like the colors and the way that the lighting is done and the way the camera just frames certain violence as juxtaposed to like, the humanity. You get like all of that stuff rolled up together, and it gives you a nice little like package and presentation to work with. I'll give myself one of these. I am fucking, I'm running out of steam on Fury, because like alright, so like, enough kissing the cinematography's ass. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it. It's like I said, for everything it does, paying homage to the Army things, there's just shit that goes on in this film that is just like, what? This is a fucking comic book in real time, and I get that some people do that, but god damn is it annoying when it does happen, and it makes it like they're the first right off the fucking bat, them making the kid fucking shoot the one dude in the back, and like nobody steps in, and I get it, that's what they're trying to do, but like at that point in the war, that wasn't what was happening, and it's just not accurate. Like, I'm sure it did happen. I'm sure it happened in that context at some point, but like not the U.S. fighting the Western Front that was like so greatly depleted. Like that was just, no. Good try, but I would believe more if it was just like not like so heavy-handed, like they're gonna make this dude beg for his life and slap his family's photos out of it. No, not happening in my book. But what do I fucking know? I wasn't there. But I do know that towards the end, they're like, so they're the radio's busted. They're the last men standing in their tank column that gets completely decimated, and their tracks break down. I have no fucking idea. Like, yeah, I get it that the point, and I guess like the overarching theme that I was trying to evoke is like supposed to be like, what is home? And like when you've been all these places and met killed all these people and done all these strange fucking sadistic things, like I guess home is just what brings you comfort. And like for some reason Brad Pitt in the tank, like that's his home, and like, he feels like his family's at his home, but he constantly, like, everybody refers to it as a job, which makes no fucking sense to me. But like I guess having it's stuck in your head that like, this is my job, this is where I belong, this is what I do, is like what makes him stay at the end. But like, no fucking, like, that's a suicide mission, and like they'll just go back. Like, you're not supposed to stay and do that. Like, I get them trying to like fix the tank, but like after a certain point it does become arduous, and it's like, yo, we're sitting ducks here, and like this is exactly the worst case scenario. Let's stay and fight. Are you out of your fucking mind? You would, like, even if you were like to be commended for that being like this just insane act of heroism, which like it is ultimately, but like you're not like gonna just be a sitting duck and create this elaborate trap where it's almost certain doom. Like, that's not the way that's gonna go down. You guys are able-bodied, your tank's busted, but you're fine to hoof it a couple of miles back to the line and then come back, and lo and behold, your tank will still probably fucking be there because it's busted. Like, where's the fucking logic in that? And I like, yeah, I get that it like sets up the climax of the film, but like it's so preventable and unnecessary, where it's like such fucking like Marvel logic of like, oh, the fate of this war depends on this one like, no, it's not even a fucking important like battle that they were in. It's so mundane and so routine at this point that they don't even bother naming the town that they go to save or to liberate or whatever. It's just fucking annoying that this is like the battle you choose. Like, this is the hill you choose to die on. The literal hill you choose to die on is like 8 feet away from a fucking former Nazi hospital that you probably could like, be like, oh yeah, like this is how close we were to their front. If you went back and you got like intel like, or found an intelligence officer or something like that, and we're like, yo, this is how close we were to the front. Wouldn't it be a good idea if we like showed up? There's probably more of them around. They're going to try and retake it, and we know exactly where they're probably heading towards, which is this hospital. But instead, no, let's just light the whole fucking blow the thing up and then die in the process. That's way more fucking logical. Motherfucker, this give me a sec here. Whew. Daddy needs to calm down. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, that a little bit of this maybe. Yeah, that hits the spot. Marijuana and coffee make a good pair. Just throwing that. This podcast is... We don't have any sponsors on this. I don't want any sponsors anyway. But, yeah, the sponsor of this podcast is Marihucci and Cappuccino. They'll do you right. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. I'm trying to calm down after thinking about it. Like, that logic is so fucking stupid to me. And I get that it culminates in this. But you could have, like they just took out the Tiger tank. They just took out the creme de la creme tank that probably, like, because they were real depleted at this point, like 1945 in Germany. Like, the Nazis were really running out of steam. Their resources were so low. They did a good job of, like, portraying that in, like, the kids, but they stole that from that movie, fucking Big Red 1, I think. I think it's Big Red 1. With Mark Hamill, but I could be fucking wrong. Where I think like they go to take the town. It might be The Longest Day. I'm not sure. I don't think it's The Longest Day. But yeah, there's like a scene where they like enter a town and all the Nazis have basically fled, but they leave all... fuck! Why can't I think of it? Anyway, yeah, all the Nazis left, but like they leave the kids and a bunch of guns behind, like thinking that they can like dupe them into like shooting them or whatever, but no, they just end up like letting the kids surrender. I forget what fucking movie that is, but yeah, they kind of like did the exact same thing in Fury, which is fine. They did a good job of expressing that, but like with all of this shit, like, you know, that you've just seen. Okay, we're liberating towns. We're knocking out these tigers. We might be the last guys left, but you know what? We're really good at what we do, and we have all of the reason to kind of, I don't know, stay the fuck alive so they can give us a brand spanking new tank that we can fuck shit up with. And, you know, literally just, you know, cut our losses here and march into Berlin or come back for the tank. Like, there's so many reasons why this is, like, the dumbest way to end a fucking movie. And then, like, of course, the kid you gotta follow through. The kid tries to surrender like a fucking wuss bag. Like, all of that fucking, like, yeah, all the hubris of, you know, I'm going to be the first one to step up and stay and fight. And then he's like, oh, yeah, we're about to die. I'm scared. Oh, yeah, there's a hatch in the bottom. You might want to get out because, like, there's some humanity left in you. Well, which is it? You can't have it fucking both ways. It's like, yeah, the logic here is just absent, completely vacant of any, like, more, like, I get the moral stuff, but everything beyond that, it's like you're shooting your foot to spite your face. I have no fucking idea what the message is supposed to be. Like, yeah, hold on until the very bitter end, and then you might get out if you're lucky. If you hit the fucking like life lotto, you might see all your friends die. That's heroism. Like, it's just like I would find this insulting if I was a military member, just on the pure fact that it's like, oh yeah, you really do think we're just meat? Like, no, like there's no strategy to this. They just wanted to make like war porn, and that's fine. But god damn, if it just doesn't irritate me to no end that like the absence of logic just trounces over everything the fuck else. But yeah, I think I got 20 minutes out of this. I ran out of steam 10 minutes ago. So, other than that, like, despite all my bitching, Fury is a good movie. Down to brass tacks, it is a fucking fine movie. It's entertaining as fuck, and it's got a good cast. If you got like a rainy day and you want to kill some time and watch like a solid, like, I think it's like only like 90 or 100 minutes, flick where you get to see some badass explosions, Fury is your movie. So thank you, and see you on the next one.